I spent a couple of days alone in the woods. Just me, with no digital distractions. In my daily life, I work extremely hard. I have a full-time technical job in addition to my content creation work. I rarely log off, and sometimes when I'm stressed out, it's easy to forget why I'm even doing all of this. I wanted to spend some time alone to reconnect with that sense of purpose and clarity. I also wanted to do this because I'm at an inflection point in my life where soon I may not have the freedom just to do something like this. To just drop everything and spend time alone, with no responsibilities and no way for the outside world to contact me. Like most of us, I'm rarely completely alone. Even if there are no other people around me, I fill the silence with audiobooks, podcasts, and music. When I arrive, one of the first things I notice is the sound of the clock. I notice the click of my pen as I write. I'm in the forest in Northern California, and deer are strolling past the windows of the tiny house I'm staying in. Despite the calm and quiet, I'm feeling really energized by the possibility of just following my interests. There's nothing I have to do, so I can do anything I feel like. It makes me feel almost giddy. At home, I'm usually too busy to enjoy cooking. I used to love it, but these days it just feels like a task that's in the way of me getting to the next thing. So I took this trip as an opportunity to see how I feel about cooking in the absence of a schedule. I took my time and made a wholesome meal from scratch, just like how I used to. I forgot how to cook lentils, and not being able to Google it meant I had to trust my instinct a bit. Turns out, in the absence of pressure and a to-do list, I still don't enjoy cooking. Throughout the trip, the only time I felt a strong pull towards the habit of listening to a podcast or watching something was when I was eating meals. Surprisingly, and maybe a bit sadly, mealtime felt boring. I know I should be more present with food and really experience the textures and flavors and appreciate just the abundance I have every day. But the truth is, I don't. Otherwise, it was surprisingly easy not to speak to anyone and not to hear any other voices. I guess that's how I know I'm an introvert at heart, even if I do like being social. Though to be fair, to me it didn't feel silent. Over the course of my trip, I read 4 books and I journaled quite a lot. That's a lot of words, even if they aren't really spoken. At a true silent meditation retreat, reading and writing are not allowed. While I had some good thoughts and ideas, I can see how filling my mind with another's words, or even my own words on the page, makes it hard to hear what's really going on under the mental chatter, underneath the songs that are stuck in my head. In fact, it took about 24 hours before my thoughts finally settled, and I was thinking slow and smooth. An exercise I like to do when the noise in my head gets too loud and chaotic is to get some big pieces of paper out and just write everything I'm thinking about. All my plans, goals, and ideas. I cross some things off for later, make connections between ideas, and prioritize better when I can see everything physically on the page in front of me. Even at home, exercises like this help me avoid burnout. Truthfully, despite being extremely busy, I don't think I've ever really burned out before. I credit this to being aware of how I'm feeling and taking measures to lower the intensity or carve out space to reflect when things start to become too much. And that doesn't have to be some big trip away from it all. I'm deeply aware of how privileged I am to have an opportunity like this. One thing I like to do at home is eat a pomegranate. It's not that there's something special about pomegranates themselves. The magic, if you want to call it that, is in the process. Cleaning and preparing a pomegranate takes about 15 minutes of gentle focus. My hands are in the water looking at the beautiful colors. I take my time and just sit with the simple task. I always feel better after this. It's surprising how small things can make such a big difference. Waking up with no notifications, no emergencies, no comments, it's hugely relaxing. I realize I don't need to completely disengage to have some of this at home. I already keep my phone in another room during the day and at night, but I can take it a step further and completely block apps and notifications until a set time during the day. While I enjoyed the absence of notifications, I did miss my husband. By the last night, I considered coming home early. But that feeling is also beautiful in its own way. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to disconnect, and that I'm also happy to come home. I love that I have a life I can share with someone and the space to be alone. I went to the woods seeking clarity, and I found something maybe even a little bit better. A deep appreciation for both the silence I can create at home and the life I get to return to.